Hey guys, it's Damien.
And I'm Kenady, and thank you so much for joining us. Now today we're talking about wedding ideas on a budget. Now we know COVID has put a damper in a lot of things, how we do life and events like holidays and graduations, birthdays, and even weddings. But we know nothing can stop love.
So we wrote a whole chapter in our book, #Completely Married.
Chapter 14.
On how to plan a wedding. But before we even get into all of that, we want to give you some things to consider in regards to wedding planning. So the first thing is to have a budget and stick to it. Think about what is important to you and your spouse, write it down, and figure out what you can cut corners on so you can stick to that budget. The second thing is to have your future and your financial goals in mind. You do not want to break the bank because of just frivolous spending.
You still got a life to come to after the wedding.
Yeah,
you have to be eating rice and beans.
You want to have a house or apartment, whatever it is. You want to have a roof over your head. So just remember, you don't have to impress others. It is your special day.
An area that you want to consider when planning your wedding and executing your wedding, deciding your wedding size. This is going to determine how much money you're going to spend, whether you have 10 people at a wedding, 5 people at a wedding, or 100, 150. All of that costs money. And so deciding who you want at your wedding at this special moment, again, not impressing anybody. People will understand if they're not invited to your wedding, especially during COVID where we have, the limits on how many people can do it. Think about having an intimate wedding with maybe your family and close friends, and then live streaming it on Facebook or Instagram or through Zoom. And so that way you can still invite people in, but having an intimate wedding and practicing social distancing.
So now you have your wedding size, you need to figure out your wedding venue. You have to understand that there are seasons where it's cheaper and days that it's cheaper to have a wedding. For us, we did it on a Sunday because it was cheaper. Also, you can have these weddings now outside in the backyard. At a park, or you can find a place where you can safely gather and social distance, especially during this COVID season.
Another area to consider is food. This is big. This is another break the bank if you let it.
Yeah.
And so ways that you can, limit how much you're spending on that, doing buffet style or catering as opposed to per person, per plate type thing. That tends to be more expensive when you do it per person or per plate. And also if people don't show up, you still have to pay per person. But with the buffet style, you kind of just have it all out and people can get seconds if need be. But with COVID, you can have, servers giving out the food to limit that food contact. But just again, it's a great way to save money by doing more of the buffet style. Maybe you know a family or a friend of the family that has a business, a catering business that you can pour into locally, helping the community, but also having them as well cater your wedding. And also they still are able to allow you to test the food before giving it. So just because you're cutting corners doesn't mean you have to cut quality.
Yeah.
And so you're still able to pick the menu, taste the food, and making sure it's up to your standards. With the cake, now we did not do traditional cake.
$1,000 cake.
Yeah, that's one of those things we could cut corners. Most people tend to not even eat the cake or not all of the cake, but we went to Publix and we got actually a cookie cake, and it was a cookie cake tiered cake, and you have the picture there. And then we got cupcakes as well and then set it up really nicely. And the lady, the bakery person, was like, wow, I've never seen a wedding cake this cheap.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, that's what we do it.
Very inexpensive.
Very inexpensive, but it was the look that we're going for. We love cookies. Like, it was true to ourselves. We love cookie cake. I'm like, why would we not have a cookie cake? And so again, you're not pleasing people. It is about your day and your finances as well.
Another area you can consider by cutting corners or having a low budget is your decorations. Now for us, we had a rustic wedding. And so for our flowers, now flowers can get expensive. And we do have friends who do this. And so
no shame to you. You got it.
If you have the money and you have it in your budget, do it. But for us, it was not high. They died the next day, right? We did baby's breath because it's the rustic thing, and it was affordable.
$90.
Okay.
The whole flowers everywhere.
$90,
the whole
y'all.
venue.
And so it was so good. And we had a great decorator who went to thrift stores to find that look that we was looking for. And a shout out to her. She killed it. She stayed under budget. And lastly, we had a idea to rent our tablecloths. Now sometimes you have venues that bring in the chairs and the tablecloths and all that. Our venue didn't have the tablecloths, so we actually rented the tablecloths, and we were able to send it back without washing them.
Just pack it back, send it, and yeah.
And we saved a lot of money there.
Next area might be a dress. You know, and again, this might be something that is very important to you and you want to go all out and have a designer this on you. But for those who might want to cut corners again and the dress isn't as important to you, but even being able to get one used or on sale or whatever it may be, again, you don't have to break the bank to get it. You can still have something that you feel gorgeous in. Maybe you know someone who can make a dress. And one thing I do want to recommend is maybe going to a seamstress that's outside of the place that you bought the dress, because they tend to be more expensive.
Yeah.
I wish I had did that. That was something that I didn't do, and I learned later on that someone told me it's a lot cheaper if you go to someone else that can do the alterations for you. But again,
And you can stay under the average price is what, $1,600? You can stay under that if you want to.
yeah, so you know, again, deciding what's important to you and what things that you can cut corners in.
Another area is your wedding rings. And so one of the things that I did is go to a wholesaler downtown Atlanta called Danielle's Diamonds and Co. or Company, right? And so shout out to Danielle's Diamonds. Did an amazing job to get a custom ring for Kenady, exactly what she wanted. It might have made me look like I was a loan shark or something like that, but like literally 2 to 3 times your money's worth. And it's good quality. If any stones fall out, we can go back.
Real, right?
Yeah, free cleanings and all of that. And sometimes you can even do different stones. Like if you don't want a diamond, you can do different stones. Whatever is in your budget, make sure you look, because sometimes the traditional places are kind of expensive.
Like the Zales and
And it'll take you over. Jared's. I didn't go to Jared's, y'all. Yeah, but it was a great price. Make sure you also get that insurance as well.
Yeah, getting that jeweler's insurance. And another area is the honeymoon. Now, for us, we had our wedding before COVID, a couple of months before COVID. And so with our honeymoon, we actually got that well in advance of when we wanted to, or when we were going on our honeymoon. It was about, what, 6 months?
6 to 7 months, yeah.
And we did an all-inclusive thing. And then when we looked at the price, when it was like a week or two before the honeymoon, it was 3 times the amount. So if you can, trying to get it early on, ahead of time. But also we know during the times of COVID, maybe that might be something that you postpone, or maybe just doing something in the States or wherever you are that's nearby, just like a staycation or whatever it may be. But whatever you do, make sure you have insurance on it, that if you cancel the honeymoon due to, you know, guidelines, lockdowns, or whatever it may be, that you'll be able to refund or get a credit back for that.
And that's called travel's insurance.
Yeah, travel's insurance. Just again, doing what you feel comfortable. We know these are unprecedented times. We don't know what a month or 2 might look like. And so just really, you know, using best wisdom and judgment and not being afraid to postpone it or doing a smaller scale during these times now.
So how much did our wedding cost? Now, everything included with the honeymoon, not the rings, everything we spent, we actually spent less than $10,000 with everything. And so many people thought that we spent way more. They was like, what, you lying? Like, no, like really, if you put your head together and not try to just break the bank, like Kenady continued to say, you don't have to break the bank to have an intimate wedding that is special for you and your partner.
And one thing that I'd like to add is don't box out God.
Yeah,
don't get him out of the equation. He can blow your mind. He had a lot of just surprises in our wedding wedding planning and our budget. And so don't discredit him. You don't know who might bless you with a photographer, might bless you with a dress, or whatever it may be. Just trusting God and allowing him to just show his favor upon you. And so, again, also not afraid to ask people as well with gifts. That's what we put in the book, you know, of like maybe giving their time or helping as opposed to giving a wedding gift. And so, you know, just cutting corners. And for those who are watching that are planning your wedding, don't stress out. You know, it's going to be perfect in the way it should be. And just we bless your marriage and bless your wedding.
Thank you so much for joining us. Please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also follow us on Instagram at Damien and Kenady. That's Damien and Kenady spelled out. You can also go to our website at damienandkenady.com and get a free book. But we do have all of our other items there as well. Yeah. Again, my name is Damien Nash.
And I'm Kenady Nash.
And have a low budget wedding. Bye.